Moment of truth.
Hey, oh, it's way brighter. God, that's loads better.
So, back to square one with that lambda sensor.
Interesting, I've turned the ignition off now, and the fault that's only showing up now is the... And in the next video, I'm going to be asking you a few questions. Kind of I want to know what direction of this channel you want to take. So we are back, and we have light. As you can see, there is 3 new lights up, one there, and one here. That is the original I was going to keep, but my friend James is going to come round later on today to fit one of these ones on here as well. So the light is even everywhere. They're all the same, and you guys will be able to see much better now I have much more light in here. The first jobs we're going to crack on with today are, we have a new lambda sensor for the BMW. Now, one of the codes it flagged up when we did the diagnostic is I think it was the post-cat lambda sensor. I'm not 100% sure, I can't remember, but we have the new one with us, so I can cross-reference it with the one that's on the car at the moment. We can whack that one off, put this one on, hopefully clear that code anyway, and then I think the other one was like a battery terminal, which I've also got one off eBay, so hopefully that will help as well. And then we can whack on the new exhaust, because the new exhaust has arrived, but we need to do some slight modifications from the old one to the new one so we can basically fit it to the car, because I did read up and some people were saying that I had to change the boot lining or the boot floor because it's a cabriolet, but I've managed to get the back box part, which I've already mocked up to the car, and that does fit in. It's just the section from the existing one to the old one, so sorry, the old one to the new one. So, but first, let's crack on with this lambda sensor. So the first thing I need to do to get to that lambda sensor is to get that under tray off. Just some 8mm and 10mm bolts, whip them off, and then the under tray will just slide straight out. This is actually quite a large under tray, but it's there to protect the underneath of the engine and the gearbox. Now that under tray is off, we can see what we're dealing with under here. So, not good news is there is a bit of an oil leak. As you can see, it's wet under the starter motor there, bit on the steering rack, and then if we look here, it looks like it's the sump, because if we look at the engine, this is the sump here, but if you look above the sump, it's dry, but around the top of the sump here, well, there's the seal, and there's oil, yeah, fresh oil on there. Oh, I'll be honest, I think to get that sump out, it might be a subframe drop. Correct me if I'm wrong, I might be able to just reach down there and undo all those sump bolts and then squeeze it out, but it is a big sump, and yeah, that sump seal definitely needs replacing at some point. As you see, the bottom of the gearbox is all covered in oil as well. But the lambda sensor I think we need is this one here. So where does that go? It plugs into there, I think. Plugs into down there. So I think we'll get that one off. We'll stick the new one on, and then hopefully that cloud will clear. Getting this lambda sensor off is quite easy. It's just held on with some clips where the electrical connector is, and then it's just, I think it was a 14 or 15mm bolt holding it into the actual cat itself, and then it just slides straight out. So I've got the old one off. Now it is obviously different to the new one. And it does have this like metal sheathing around it, which obviously protects it from the heat. Now looking at the end of that, it is really black compared to the new one. So yeah, it's just my concern is I don't want it to melt. Now I could take this off by chopping the plug off, but if it is the wrong lambda sensor, I don't want to have chop the end of the plug off and I can't get it back on. But also, even if I did that, I won't be able to get it on the new one anyway, so there's no point. So I think what we'll do is we'll put this in, I'll leave the under trays off and then I'll see if the code clears. But yeah, I think that's the best option I can do. But I'll keep that, I won't throw it away just in case we have to put it back on.
So back to square one with that Lambda sensor. It's neither of these two underneath here. I've checked the connections, it is different. Now the only one that could be is the pre-cat one, which is right up there, and I can't even get a spanner in there. I'd have to have a look from the top to see if it's accessible there, but before I even try and do that, because that's going to be a long job, I'm going to plug the diagnostics in after we've done the exhaust, just to double check if it's the pre-Lambda sensor or pre-cat Lambda sensor or the post-cat Lambda sensor. Then I can determine whether or not I need to try and get that off, or I've ordered the wrong one and I actually need a post one. And in that case, that one's nice and easy to change. So let's crack on with the exhaust, get that on, and then we can run another diagnostics.
Now I did forget to mention this part in the video before I started the exhaust, but I did need to change this battery terminal again because it was flagging up a code for the engine management light. Nice and easy to do. It's just the negative terminal, take it off the battery, undo these clips that go to some sort of board which is on top of the positive, and then there's the earth that goes to the chassis of the car as well. Nice and easy, and then I can get the new one on.
So here we have the old one that I've just taken off. Apparently this is what's throwing up one of the engine management lights, or one of the codes for the engine management light. And then this is the replacement I got off eBay. I can't remember how much it was, but I'll find out and put it on the screen for you. But yeah, definitely identical part numbers. So let's whack this on, get it all back together, then we'll sort the exhaust out, and then we'll read the codes again.
Like I said, back on with a new one, literally exactly the same but in reverse order of taking the old one off. These just are 10mm bolts to hold it to the terminal, 10mm for the earth for the chassis, and then the other ones just clip straight into place.
So to get this exhaust on, I'll show you the new one in a minute, but I don't know where I need to cut yet, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut it here, and then I can cut little bits off. I'd rather have too much to start with than not enough. So instead of having a guessing game, I just want to cut it here, probably mount this back up to the car, and then I can chop where I need to chop it to the new exhaust. So without further ado, let's get cutting.
While I'm having fun with the angle grinder, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who's still supporting the channel. I know I haven't been uploading as regular as I should be and as I want to be due to other work commitments, but we're getting there. So thank you so much for the support. Hit that subscribe button and enjoy the rest of the video.
Hey! Oh. So the update with the exhaust is, this is where we took the back box off originally, and now you see I've actually cut part of the back box off because I'm going to need it to attach to the new exhaust. So you can see I've placed the new back box in position. You got one exit there, which there is some adjustment that's needed, and obviously the other tailpipe's there, and then this exhaust, if you can see, just move about a bit, there's this exhaust hanger here which goes into the original exhaust rubber, and it bends off slightly, so I need to just adjust this. So I've cut the whole thing off, but I'm probably gonna have to shorten it a bit more. So I think what's best is put this on here and see where I need to cut, and then this should just slide onto the new one. That's the plan anyway. So that originally was in there like so. Okay, so I do need to cut it. That'll obviously be clamped together. I do need to cut it about there. So where the crease is here, where it just kind of bends off straight, I've obviously need to cut straight down there, and then that part should slide onto there. So I'll cut that, and then hopefully it should slide on. Right, I've now chopped it a little bit more off, so it should fit nicely now. So what I'm going to do is I am going to paste it, just to get some exhaust paste on there, so it's nice and sealed. I'm just going to spread that around. It's probably going to go quite liquidy because it's hot, but that's fine. There we go. Beautiful. So now let's get this mounted onto here. Let's get that exhaust mount on. Now that I've finally got that section off the old back box in the right length, it's time to finally mount it all up, bolt it all into place, and then finally get the back section of the exhaust in position up to the exhaust mounts, and then do slight adjustments just to make sure it looks spot on and it's nice and neat and level with the diffuser. So it's not perfect, that could do with coming down a bit, and obviously that one coming up a bit, but there is an exhaust mount on this side which I'll probably just need to fix to, probably have to make one to be honest, but looking underneath, follows down nicely there. Like I say, I've got to get an exhaust clamp on there, and we'll just tighten those bolts up and then we'll go for a start. So we've got those exhaust mounts on, the clamps as well, the car is on the floor, we're going to drive it out, give it a little rev, and then while we're waiting for some more parts of the BMW, it's time to move back onto the Ford Fiesta. I need to change the power steering pump and also look at that brake pipe, whether or not I can get some liquid metal to fix it or just look at replacing it. It's going to be a tough one, but once I get it up in the air I'll be able to see a lot better. Look how much better that looks now. So one more thing we need to do before I put the Ford Fiesta on the ramp is I want to read the diagnostics. Because we've still got the engine management light on, as you can see there. I have changed that battery terminal, which was one of the faults on the engine management light. The other one I think is still a lambda sensor. Like I say, I've ordered the wrong one. The other one should be here soon. Hopefully that'll fix that fault, and then the engine management light should be completely done then. So, but it ticks over lovely. We need to do an oil change. I'm going to do a service on it. Air filter as well, but the air filter actually looks brand new, so I'm not going to bother with that. So yeah, just engine oil and oil filter, and potentially pollen filler as well. But other than that, it should be ready for its MOT, and then we can get it out on a road trip. So we can see from the faults we've got 7 on the engine. Let's see what they are. Intelligent battery sensor, which I thought would have cleared, but it might disappear once I've cleared this. Instrument panel, oxygen sensor heater tube after CAT, which is the one I already knew about. Something to do with the instrument panel. That's probably because I've changed the clocks. CAT converter is aging, which you knew about. This one as well, electric coolant pump missing. I'm not sure why would it be missing, but anyway, let's clear these. So engine management light's gone off now. No trouble codes. So I've just done a load of active tests, like shutting injectors off. They all worked, except injector 4, 5 and 6, they failed to turn off, which is, I think that's bank 2 in it. But I've read the codes again, there's no engine management light, but the battery terminal one has disappeared. The only ones left is the oxygen sensor after catalytic converter, so I need to, that's either active because the cat's aging, or the cat's showing that it's aging because of the sensor. So I think it's worth changing that sensor and seeing if those 2 faults disappear, but I just need to get my hands on one of those sensors because I ordered the wrong one. And then there's still this electric coolant pump missing. Can someone tell me in the comments whereabouts on the car is that, and I can check if it's actually there or not. Interesting, I've turned the ignition off now, and the fault that's only showing up now is the oxygen sensor for after the CAT. So maybe it is just that sensor now, and then we should have all the engine management light codes cleared. So fingers crossed. That's it. I just need to get one of those sensors, which I think they're about 100 quid. There's no point buying second hand because it could be faulty, so I might as well buy a new one. So we'll get that ordered and we'll change that in the next video. But for now, I want to crack on with the Fiesta because I need to change that power steering pump because it's whining like hell.
but I need to be able to get on the ramp, but the battery's flat, so I need to get myself an I need to get myself a battery charger as well, so that'll be for the next video. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, press the like button, press the subscribe button, and in the next video I'm going to be asking you a few questions. I want to know what the direction of this channel you want to take. I don't have unlimited amounts of money, so buying crash damaged cars, yes, they're not that expensive to buy at first, but it's all the parts, which at the moment I just don't have the money. So do you want to see me do cheaper projects? Do you want to see me do engine swaps? I kind of have a rough idea of what I kind of want to do, but I want to know what your feedback is as well. So yeah, please put it in the comments. I'm kind of open to seeing what you guys want to see as well. So yeah, we'll see you on the next video.